were on a roll with late-released NES platformer games, Shatterhand was released in 1991 after the Super Nintendo was released. If you were lucky enough to hang on to the NES while the Super Nintendo was about to hit store shelves, you would have got to experience a bunch of great Natsume games like Shadow of the Ninja, Power Blade 1 and 2, and SCAT to name a few. Shatterhand is no exception to the great action platformers on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Everything in Shatterhand you'll end up punching with your fists, from giant barriers to bullets. With a name like Shatterhand, did you expect to pull out a bazooka and start firing? God, doesn't that hurt? I guess not if you have metal fists. Is it me, or does this look like David Arquette is finally losing it? I wouldn't fault you for passing on a cover this generic. You'll be thrown into the first stage of the game, then move on where you have to select one of the 5 stages to play through. If you make it through each of the stages, you'll go through to the final stage. Even though punching enemies from close range might feel a bit tough at first, it puts you into a bit of a different perspective that works well in a game like this. Scattered around some of the boxes were these different letters that worked like a slot machine. Pick up a combination of 3 letters and you get to have a different robot buddy helping you along the way. Some robots fire lasers or threw grenades, so it's important to hit the letters before you pick them up in order to change them around. These robots can also take damage and die, so you'll have to be careful in order to pace yourself from the different enemies, unlike charging forward and smashing them with your fists. You can also scale walls by grabbing and hanging on. You could use this to get to hard-to-reach areas or climb walls where you otherwise wouldn't. Sometimes the boxes will drop coins that you can spend at these kiosks by pressing the down button. One, you can get your health back. One will increase your attack power by upgrading your flashy vest from a green to a brown. The most expensive purchase is an extra life that costs a whopping 2,000 coins. I really hated the way that some blocks had grenades that just blew up, forcing you to take damage. This type of jack-in-the-boxery is really cheap. The game is hard enough having to run up to enemies for crying out loud. Now I have to remember the different level layouts? The chiptune music in Shatterhand is great. It gives you a rush to make you want to run up to one of the enemies, shattering them to smithereens. Seriously, give the music in Shatterhand a listen. The graphics in Shatterhand are fantastic with very little slowdown. With a game that borrows so many elements like the pattern boss battles in Ninja Gaiden, or the level select and the upside down stages like in Mega Man 5, I think that Shatterhand falls a bit short from the A-tiered action platformers. It's not to say that Shatterhand isn't a great game, because it's definitely worth a playthrough, and I had a ton of fun just running around and punching enemies. You just really have to hang on to the right robot power-up for the job, otherwise the difficulty is just way too hard. A copy of Shatterhand is pushing through the acceptable price point of many, pushing above $70 for a loose copy in 2022. If only Nintendo put it on their Switch Online service like they did with SCAT or Shadow of the Ninja, it would be way more accessible to the masses. You might just have to play Shatterhand any way possible until then. I'm the RetroKingPin. Thanks for watching.